So, good afternoon, good evening, good morning to anyone out there listening to this podcast. I am Priscilla,
And I am Lorenz,
and we
and
welcome
we
you
welcome you
to the Exchange Pod.
to ExchangePod.
It's a little exchange on the hows and what's of being a international medical exchange student.
Okay, so today we'll be having two very special guests. They were our Scopy delegates here in the Philippines last August 2019.
And what makes this very special is that it's because it's the love month, you know? It's February, and we have a couple with us tonight. Today.
Right.
Here with us.
Okay, so here with us today is the lovely couple who is not who not just only gained new medical knowledge here, but also gained a partner to share with.
All right. So, hi guys, Ilka and Piotr. Please introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Ilka, and I'm very happy to join this podcast. Thank you for hosting it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I was in Philippines together with Piotr in 2019 in August, I think, and it was a very, very great experience. I'm from Germany, and I'm studying medicine in Hamburg at the UKE. And I love to travel. This is also why I came to the Philippines. But yeah, recently with COVID, of course, this was not possible that much. And currently I'm also in my clerkship, clerkship. It's like the last year of our med school. And so, I'm working a lot in the hospital. This is basically what I've been up to the last month.
All right. How about you, Piotr?
Oh, hi guys, I'm Piotr. So in English it would be Peter, and I am like the medical student of the 6th year. So taking into consideration how system here in Poland is organized, it's my last year. So the finishing line, if I can say it like that. And I am studying in Gdańsk, so very beautiful city in the north of Poland, next to the sea, next to the Baltic Sea to be more precise. And I really enjoy studies here, studying next to the water. I'm interested in a lot of things, and I guess one of my biggest passions is tennis, and today is the Australian Open final. So I am like double excited. First of all, because of this podcast, I am really, really glad you guys invite us, and it's really, really nice to share something about our experience with you and about the final, of course. And last month, I was mostly studying for the exams here in the university, and I was working in the ER since because of the COVID-19, such opportunity arose for the students. So I did a lot of hours there, and I was like trying to be helpful there and to help patients to also like develop my skills and my abilities that will be needed in the following years. And about COVID situation in our country, because I see that like this is something that we should mention here. Like it is pretty tough to assess it right now because we are in the verge of the third wave, I guess, and the number of tests that we are making now, it's not enough. It's not high enough to properly assess the amount of problem we are like dealing now.
Since you've brought up COVID, right? Since you brought up COVID, I want to ask, how was it going face first into, the front lines and fighting this pandemic? How is it for you two?
So like,
sorry.
Yeah, please, we can start. Ladies first.
Like for me, I'm working in the hospital, but we in this hospital don't have so many COVID patients, so it's still one of the less affected hospitals. So it's not as tough as in other regions, I guess. But still, of course, it's like it's tough to see how capacities in general here are like getting smaller and smaller, and like also the intensive care units were very filled with patients, and it's terrifying a bit. But yeah, as I said, in our hospital, the situation was still quite manageable. Like we have one ward filled with COVID patients, but they are all pretty stable, and it's going pretty okay.
Yeah, here in Poland, like we last year basically we had like 2 waves, and the first wave was pretty okay. I mean, like it's maybe not proper word to describe it, but like we dealt with it very well as a nation. We had huge restrictions. People were following them, and like the system survived all of it. The problem was like after summer when the second wave arrived to Poland, and then the number of cases, the number of patients with severe symptoms, with the tougher prognosis were like enormous, and you could experience it on every ER, on every department that there is a problem. There is a problem. First of all, like with the medical staff that was infected, and a lot of nurses, a lot of doctors were infected, so they were unable to help in this particular moment. And then like the patients that were like mixing all together, so the COVID patients, not COVID patients, they were all like mixing together on the normal wards, on a ERs. So like the COVID was spreading quite easily, and now we are having like the vaccine, so it's like slightly hope that there is a light like somewhere in this like tunnel, huge dark tunnel, although it's like going slow. And yes, we are like now in the edge of if we will like be doing good and we will like still be dealing with the problem, or if like this third wave that is like now coming, we will be completely, I don't want to say destroy or something, but like we are in the edge of like having serious troubles and like dealing with it hopefully completely. So yeah, so we will see what the next weeks are having, or what are going to, how they are going to look like.
You mentioned the vaccines, right? Have you guys received the vaccine?
Yes, Piotr received already both of the vaccines, and I received my first one and will get my second one in 1 week. So we're pretty lucky, I guess, that
Yeah, you guys are.
yeah. But and this is for me like also personally a huge topic, that vaccine distribution in the world is so unequal, that we in Europe are very privileged and we're getting the vaccines very early. To be more precise, in Poland it was especially like that healthcare workers and also medical students received it in the beginning. And here in Germany, it was more like that the old people were vaccinated first, and then it was healthcare staff. But yeah, it's like frustrating to see that also here it's still going slow, but that other parts of the world are still receiving much less vaccines. And I think it will make the process of ending COVID-19 much slower.
For personal, just for my personal reference, you guys felt any side effects when you guys received the vaccine? Sorry, this is an off-topic question, but I just want to know, you know.
So after the first dose, I was feeling quite good. Like apart from like a bit of pain in the arm that I received the injection, there's nothing wrong with me. And after second dose, it was like slightly worse. I had a fever and this let's say common flu symptoms like muscle pain, and I felt fatigue, but it was lasting for 20 hours, 24 hours. So I would rather say that nothing severe happened. It's like having normal flu shot or anything. So yeah, I would rather say that I made it through without any severe complications, because like taking into consideration what COVID can like cause, like having like fever for 18 hours or like 20 hours, it's nothing really that you shouldn't even mention as a side effect. So yeah, so I would say that it was pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, for me it's the same.
It's the same. All right. That's good to hear. At least you guys have received the vaccine and are ready to go back to the front lines when the time comes. Well, for Ilka, she's still at the front lines, but at least you guys are safe, and that's what matters, isn't it? All right. So again, thank you again for coming here. We're now gonna start the brunt of our podcast, which is your exchange here in the Philippines. I think Austin.
Oh.
I think Austin has. Lawrence. Sorry, Lawrence has a question for you guys.
Oh, right. We have a lot, I mean, quite some questions for you guys. So let's start with what made you choose to decide to go to the Philippines? Let's start with Elka.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, kind of, I always wanted to go to Southeast Asian countries and especially to Philippines because I was fascinated by a country with so many islands, such great nature, and yeah, a lot of beaches, but also places to hike. And yeah, this is basically why I chose Philippines. And also, I haven't been to Asia before. I wanted to get to know Philippine culture, and also yeah, like was fascinating for me that like there are so big cities also, and yeah, that's why I chose Philippines.
Taking into consideration that everything changed in the Philippines, I would say destiny. But definitely, like the feedback of previous people that were in Philippines, like it was quite a long time since the last Polish person was in the Philippines through or via Scope exchange. But you guys had only good reviews. That was the first thing, and yeah, and similar to Ilka, like I was excited to see. Philippines itself and all the nature that your country includes. So yeah, it was like the mixture of good feedback of the country itself, what it has to offer, and destiny. I am still like keeping my first answer.
All right, I'm gonna go back to what you said. We only get good reviews. I want to emphasize on that on whoever's gonna listen to this podcast, guys. We only get good reviews. So when this pandemic, is done, come by. Just come by. We're gonna show you what Philippine hospitality is actually like. Isn't that right, guys? All
Yeah,
right.
like I will take this moment just to like mention my student exchange partner and like my host Red Supply. Like yeah, his hospitality was great, so I want to like send a lot of greetings to him right now if it's possible. So yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Drop a
me too.
name.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Drop a
Red,
name.
Red, like we are like still thinking about you, and like thanks a lot for all of your kindness and the hospitality back then, and we are like waiting for you to join us here in Europe. So yeah, lots of love and lots of greetings from here.
Well, we will make sure he gets this message. Wait,
That's cool.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Did he act as a bridge for you two? Did he push you guys together? Or did you guys just find each other?
I guess we just found each other. Like, I guess it was because we both arrived a bit earlier than most of the others of the Skopje exchange group, and also before the start of the internship in the hospital. And so this is why we decided to travel together already some days before the internship. So we like basically since the start we got along pretty well, and I guess this is how it went.
Yeah.
That is something we call in the Philippines kilig. I don't know if someone has mentioned that to you before. That is kilig. Do you guys know what kilig
I
is?
never before. No, actually not.
All right. I'm going to describe kilig as the smile you have when you see Piotr. Let's just say leave it at that.
But probably it's the same smile that I am having when I am seeing her.
Yes, exactly. The smile you
Exactly
see,
the
the
same
ease
smile.
you feel when you see each other, that's the kilig. That's kilig.
Um, like just for the record,
That's
I
a
am
really
having the
cool
same
word. I
smile
guess we
now
don't
when I'm
have so.
seeing her. So, yeah.
You could actually, yeah, but yeah, just a little, just yeah, that feeling of romance, of bubbly feeling you have. That's kilig, and you guys are making me feel kilig right now with your story. I have to say. All right. So your general, what is your general experience in the Philippines? your impressions, the whole shebang, if you will.
Generally, it was an amazing time in the Philippines. Like, we were traveling a lot, which was, really, really nice experience. We saw a lot of different places, like the rice terraces, for example, and different islands. And we were traveling also a lot of the times with the whole group of the exchange students together. So with people from many, many different countries. So this was a really, really great experience. And also what you already mentioned, like this great hospitality that we experienced, especially with Piotr's host Red, that was amazing. So we also got to know his family, and we spent some time at this place, and we traveled with him. And so we basically have amazing memories from the Philippines.
Oh, how about you, Piotr? So
Yeah, like
what about the experience?
I can only agree that it was like beautiful, pleasant experience with wonderful and like breathtaking images in front of eyes, like taking into consideration the nature and everything we could see it. And like it was like for me personally like a bit crowded like in the beginning. Like I never was in a place with such density of the citizens, let's say. So it was for me like quite of like this cultural shock in the very first beginnings. Also like the enormous amount of like fast food like Jollibee or McDonald's everywhere, including the bar. It was like something that I remember as like having that I found shocking. But yeah, like after all, and it was like very beautiful experience, and it's tough to not fall in love with Philippines and with all the beautiness it's having, and you guys always smiling, always willing to help. Yeah, it's definitely something I'm still like recalling in my head over and over. So yeah.
We are actually very glad to hear that. You know what, guys? Lorenz and I are both second years, and we actually joined Scope because we really want to, get experience, taking care of fellow what do you call this?
Fellow delegates.
other exchange students like you guys. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, I don't think we'll get the chance. But I'm really glad that our predecessors were able to take care of you guys. Were able to introduce Philippine hospitality, make you feel welcome. So that's really nice to hear. No lie, I'm really glad.
I'm really
Yeah,
sorry that now this pandemic is
oh,
hitting you. You just started Skopje, but like you will always be welcome here when this pandemic is over. So
I was hoping
I
to go
hope.
there during like October for Oktoberfest because I love beer. But that was a tangent. We are going on a tangent.
it requires a little bit of preparation and training, I guess.
Don't
Yeah.
worry. We got this. I think I'm ready for some German beer. I think, but I don't know
Okay,
yet.
that's
But I feel like it's gonna be a different kind of monster. But we'll see. Wait a minute. Since you say it needs some preparation, I have to ask: have you guys had any Philippine alcohol, like the Red Horse or San Miguel, or during your stay here? Did you guys drink any of our local
Um,
beverages?
like we drank quite often San Miguel.
Right?
The Red Hot, I don't know about it. Like we also drank like the stuff that people brought from different countries. So Polish vodka and Russian vodka.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was pretty tough for me, I must say. Like I'm just used to beer.
How okay, as a German, I have to ask, how did you find San Miguel? San Miguel beer.
I like it a lot.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it's
It's
really good beer.
passable.
Yeah,
Yes.
San Miguel, yeah, it's a good chaser for all the
Chaser.
mixture you're having.
Chaser.
San Miguel is a chaser. All right. Speaking of culture, what is a cultural difference or lesson that you learned during your experience here in the Philippines? What's an important social cultural lesson that stuck with you or you learned?
That's a tough question. Like as Piotr already mentioned, it's about the dense cities and living so close together. And also, for example, that a lot of people don't have a kitchen, but that you are like eating outside all the time. I guess in our countries it works differently, for example, that you're mostly cooking at home, and in Philippines also because everyone is working a lot, everyone is very busy and very ambitious in their jobs. People are eating a lot of fast food and a lot outside because it needs to be quick also. And I guess this is something that is different to here. Maybe that was a small cultural shock in the beginning, but yeah, it's definitely something like different that we experienced. And what else? Yeah, the great hospitality. Like Germans are known to be a bit cold all the time, and I guess it's also a bit true, unfortunately, this cliche. And compared to that, people in Philippines are very open-minded, and especially I remember the first evening when we were drinking, I guess also San Miguel together in a bar with some people from Philippines, and everyone was super open, and like we had so great conversations and played games like Two Truths, One False, where you need to tell stories about yourself, and like it was like, yeah, it was great experience how open everyone was, and this is definitely something that I'm taking with me from the Philippines.
How about you?
Oh, that's nice to
How about you,
hear. How about
Piotr?
you, Piotr?
About like cultural differences that I like, it was like very obvious for me to realize is like you guys love karaoke and you are singing a lot, which is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
very encouraging for me because
Did
I'm
you
a
sing?
horrible singer, but like I like to like sing and produce some sounds at least. So yeah, it was like it was one thing. The second thing, like to be more maybe serious, is like a lot of life, social life. Is like within social media there in the Philippines. Like there are a lot of things that are like going on Facebook. A lot of things that like pictures posted like every day, updates, and so yeah, it's like probably very understandable because it's not always easy to like meet or like talk to the person that is like on a different island or something. But it was like quite different that it is here like now because of the pandemic. Like we also like put a lot of our like social life into the social media. But like when I was there in Philippines, like there was a lot of things going on Facebook like within Filipino people. And like for me also like what was like the culture, I guess also shock is like there is no such things as trains or like I don't know, like this trains going within the city. You are always going with tricycle everywhere
Yeah.
and like all this.
Oh, have you ridden one?
So yeah, like there is like this train, like metropolitan train in Manila, like this 4 lines, but like yeah, like to be honest, it's like most of the times you are just grabbing the tricycle, and like it is maybe a very convenient way to travel because it's like they're everywhere. It's not, you don't really need to look to find them, but yeah, but that was like funny because then it's like all the road like stacked with tricycles, like uh making huge noises and like like driving like trying to outshout the others. So yeah, that was like the image I am also having in my
I
head.
have a question. How
Yeah.
tall are you guys?
We're both rather
Um,
small. Like I'm 163 maybe, and Piotr, you're 173.
so I am 175. If someone asks.
Okay, sorry.
You're still tall
That
for
was-
Philippine standards, but I have to ask: did you guys fit in the tricycle? You guys, because like you mentioned, you got on the tricycle, but did you guys like? Were you guys comfortable inside? Because I'm guessing it'd be pretty cramped for you guys.
Like for me,
yeah,
it
like
was totally fine.
together,
Like
yeah.
yeah, thankfully, compared to average people in our countries, we're rather small, so we fitted quite well in there.
Oh, I thought you guys would have problems with like leg space or something. At least but yeah, you guys ever rode a jeepney before, or was it all tricycle for you guys?
No, also jeepney in Philippines. It's also something that we never experienced like this before. Like I traveled to Ghana before for also kind of exchange, and there they had like some kind of similar like mini buses, let's say, but they didn't look like jeepneys. Like these I have never seen before, and also how people travel sometimes like standing in the back of this jeepney or even sitting on the top like this. I've never seen.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was pretty fun.
so I'm guessing you know what para means, like kuya para po. You've used it
Yeah,
before.
it's like to stop, like para.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So wait, you guys drank here, right? I have to ask, what was your favorite drinking spot here in the Philippines?
So I recall that like most of the times we were spending in a barbecue, like this Korean place that was having
Samgyeopsal?
like the pig. Yeah, it was having pig in this like sign or like logo as far as I can remember, and yeah, like we spent a lot of times there because it was like nice way for all of us to like have a dinner, not eating all the same, and like still like be also included somehow in the cooking process. So it was rather fun, and for me, it was something that I never experienced before because we don't have such places here in Poland. So it was like huge attraction and also like a nice place to hang. Um, and we were like also like a lot of times like meeting somewhere abroad, not abroad but like outside when we were for example traveling. We were like chilling and like relaxing in front of the place we were like currently living or on the beach. So it was not like significant one like particular place where we were like meeting as like I don't know friends in this like a cafe in the New York, but like we were like in the different places, but this barbecue Korean style, like this is something I would say we visited more than often and more than other places. So yeah.
So you guys love samgyeopsal, the Korean barbecues. I see. I'm surprised it's not. It hasn't. It hasn't been. It's not there in Europe yet. Because I assume that like the Korean craze going all over the world. I'd expect some Korean grill barbecues there to be present. But oh well. Would you come back
I
to
think
Sorry. Go ahead.
like we definitely do have some places here, but not as much as you guys do. And I didn't try it before. But
Yeah.
now I really love it.
Yeah, before the pandemic hit, there was like a Korean barbecue place in every corner of UST. So literally, you just have to choose where to go. But
I forgot to mention that we were like every day having coffee and donuts in the UST with Ilka. It was our like daily routine, and yeah.
in the
So
UST cafe,
yeah, it's like in this Dunkin' Donuts or in Starbucks.
right?
Yeah, like I
Right.
remember it was like something I was like waiting to happen in the morning, like yeah, to have.
Yeah, it's a
this
very
coffee.
unhealthy kind of living that we had there.
Yeah, but because you guys did that, you are now full-blooded Tomasians. I just have to say that's like what we do too. We wait for the coffee and the donuts as well. It's kind of funny. Our snacks are full of sugar. It's
Yeah,
why we
that's true.
crash in the middle of the day. Like we just experience sugar crash during classes and we fall asleep. But that's not the point of this podcast. All right, so I have to ask, guys. We have to ask. We have to go into your experience in USDH, or particularly your experience with the healthcare system. So I guess Austin has that specific question in mind.
Oh, I think I do have that question. So, guys, what is your most important medical lesson that you learned from your experience here in the Philippines? Great. So let's start with you, Elka.
Okay, so I will start, and I was in visceral and general surgery, and so basically I saw a lot of procedures going on there, also a lot of huge abdominal operations, and it was like really, really, was teaching me a lot to see all these procedures from very close. Everyone was super kind, and yeah, I guess this taught me a lot for my future work. And apart from that, for me, it was like it's different to our healthcare system here. That in Philippines and especially in UST, there are two divisions. So there's like the private one and the public or kind of charity one. And we don't have this. So here it's like all together more or less. And so in Philippines, for me, it was on the one hand side, it's like, of course, also seeing how people with like different incomes have get like different medical treatments, but also in the charity or public department, more residents were doing more. So I guess it's a lot of good teaching also. I think in general in UST, I felt like people are learning a lot of, for example, operations in the OR like very, very early in their career compared to our country here. And this is what I think is really, really good. But yeah, on the other hand, like seeing that, medical care depends a lot on if you earn a lot or if you're like rather poor, like this also was for me quite shocking to see.
That is the unfortunate truth.
But yeah, seeing that people learn a lot was very, very inspiring, and everyone was so dedicated, and especially residents who were already doing like huge procedures on their own and being responsible for very tough cases. And this is what we don't have here. And I think this is why people are very skilled also in the Philippines when they are done with their residency. And they have probably learned more than they do here in our country.
Well, that's actually...
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
You learned a lot. Like, you really learned a lot from here compared to other places. So, how about you, Piotr? What about your experience here in the Philippines?
Yeah, so I was rotating in the thoracocardiovascular surgery, so-called TCVS, and like I was like even before going to Philippines, kind of heart oriented, and I wanted to do something like connected with cardiovascular system. So it was something that definitely like ensured me in the way that I wanted to proceed in my future career, and so it was like maybe another like confirmation for me that this is something that interests me, that I want to do it, that I want to do. And it was like huge spectrum of all different procedures, starting with coronary artery bypass or bygraft, and ending on a making fistulas for the dialysis. So I saw also like a lot of different procedures, different spectrum of procedures. When it comes to like my personal first times, for the first time I saw a femoral artery grafting. So it was like something that I saw for the first time in my life. That was definitely something that I remember. And also like the surgery on abdominal aortic aneurysm, like the open one, because in a lot of centers here we are having this transcutaneous procedures, and like there we had opportunity to experience like this classical operation on the open abdomen, so called. And to make like maybe another like another comment to what Ilka have already said, and I am like 100% agreeing on. I need to add that you like in the Philippines, you are like very involved also like as a student in the hospital life, and it's like whole process of healing people. It's like you are having like particular places in this hospital, it's like you are rotating in a very organized way. You're having your own responsibilities that are like somehow fitted or like cooperating with all the responsibilities that other healthcare workers are having. So it's good that you are like implemented in the system like since very beginning. But also like what I think it's like slightly different in the systems that here in Europe, that like the access to the studies, or like access to like in general like higher or even like mid education is like somehow limited to the people from like bigger cities, to people with maybe some educational background in their families. So this is like the steps that you need to make, especially from when you are from like smaller village or like city, to achieve like higher education, or like to be graduate from university is enormous. And so like this is like the difference. Like you are like very, very dedicated during studies. You learn a lot. You are like spending your life in a hospital basically. But like this access to studies in general, it's I guess more difficult, or it's like tougher comparing to what you have here also in Poland. It's not for everyone. Let me say, yeah.
That is true. You mentioned you're on your 6th year, right? I actually wanted to ask this earlier, but I couldn't find like a smooth transition to this topic. But um, European, med schools in Europe are different, right? In the sense that you don't have pre-med education, right?
Exactly. Like, I guess your system is more similar to the one of the US, that you have like this pre-med school.
Right.
We don't have that. Like, we start basically with medicine since the beginning. So basically, after graduating from high school, we go to apply to universities, and then we start medicine there. And the first years are the like preclinic ones. So where you learn about anatomy and physiology and stuff. And then you go to the clinic semesters and learn in the clinics. And then the last year is the practical year or clerkship. So it's 6 years in total, basically. And depending on the country, in Poland, for example, after studies, you have additionally something like a clerkship. And here we have the clerkship already included in studies. So it's also varying a bit within Europe and even also within Germany, for example.
Mm. So you guys are, well, I'm actually I was wondering if for example I studied in Europe. I was wondering, would I last like the whole time? Wouldn't I be like, what? I have a question. If you say midway decided, oh, maybe med school isn't for me, what would be the fallback? Like, unlike here in the Philippines, right? Since we have pre-med, um since we have pre-med, you can say like, oh well, I already have another degree, so I don't have to, well, if I decided that med school isn't for me, then I could always fall, I have a fallback. um how how Well, my question is maybe revolves around, I don't know, what if, say, midway is decided med school isn't for me, would is
That's
that like a
definitely a very good
big
question.
factor, or I don't know?
Yeah, it's true. Like that, for example, if I would like now stop to study and think that actually now in the clerkship I realize med school isn't for me, I would have basically nothing in my hands because there's no pre-med school and you don't have any degree. Like, of course, I have like the first passed the first national exams, but with this I couldn't work in, like, for example, with your pre-med you have different educations. You could work as a medical technologist or as a nurse, probably. Here we don't have that. It's like medical technologists and nursing are completely different educations. So basically, if I would stop now, I would have nothing in my hands. And this definitely is an advantage of your system, I guess. So yeah, it's a point that like studies are very long if it's just 6 years of medicine, but therefore you focus on what you will do later, like from the very beginning. So I guess both systems have advantages and disadvantages.
That is very true. I have to agree on that. Any thoughts on the matter, Piotr?
Yeah, like I would also like maybe add that because of the fact that we don't have pre-med school or like any college before the university, we need to like somehow decide our future jobs or careers, or like at least like what we want to do in our lives in a very early stages. Like we are in high school, we are like around 18, sometimes 19, so we are like pretty young people that didn't experience that much in their lives yet. So it is definitely like the challenge for people to decide their way to and to be happy with it, after all. And like to all people that may struggle with such problem, and that might experience the fact that they like were enrolled to a university or to the faculty that they are not like very happy with after year 2 or 3, I can only like say that like don't worry, because there are a lot of people that were like changing studies. They were like changing their career paths to sometimes completely different fields, and they're like 100% happy and successful people now. So it's never too late to follow this path that you want to do, like no matter if it's like medicine, law, or anything. So of course it's like not that easy to switch between two different parts or two different faculties here in Europe, comparing to what it's, for example, in Philippines. But it shouldn't be the factor that it's like, restricting people to follow their dreams, or like to fulfill their career goals, because 3 years like this, or like it's not that much comparing to what we are having on the table. So yeah. So it is definitely like tougher, but like it's not something that I think should be like restricting people, because after all, it's like one life, and we should like follow what we want. So yeah.
That is right. We have one life and we should follow what we want. Thank you for that. Yeah. We have to echo, really good. You have to repeat really good quotes. And I love that. YOLO. No, I'm kidding. Don't YOLO. All right. So I think
Okay, I
Lawrence has
have a
another question.
question.
Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead, Lawrence.
So if you guys were given another chance to take another rotation here in the Philippines, would you take the chance to go back?
Definitely. Like, I would definitely love to go back. Like, although there are a lot of other countries that I would also love to see, but yeah, there are still a lot of things that I would like to see in Philippines, and definitely I would love to see, for example, Red again, and yeah, I would definitely love to go back and enjoy the time there, and yeah, definitely.
How about you, Piotr?
How about you, Pete?
So yeah, like to answer this question, I will just tell that there is no week for me that I'm not like revealing these moments with like watching these photos from Philippines over and over again. So I guess that's the proper answer to this question. Of course, I would love to visit Philippines once more. Probably not as a student, because it's probably it's not going to be possible for me anymore. But yes, like to visit Red's family, to visit all these places that we've been to, and we cherish so many beautiful moments together, and also like to see new places, because Philippines is like full of unexplored by us places that we would. I'm speaking probably also like from Ilka's perspective, to still like experience and explore. So I guess it will be always on our travel list in the future as well.
All right. Thank you for that, guys. Okay. We have been talking for, I think, 45 minutes. Yeah, so the earlier like time frame gave you, which was like 30 minutes, I think we threw that out the window. But like, okay, for the last question, unfortunately, we have to end the podcast because I think you guys have a lot to do, and yeah, we don't want to take any more of your time. You have given us more than enough, and we appreciate it so much. So for our last question, right? Do you have any words or wisdom, any words of wisdom or advice to those who are interested in having exchange here in the Philippines?
Basically, everyone who is interested should definitely go to Philippines, and also definitely stay a bit longer than the pure Skopje exchange. Like that was definitely a very good decision of both of us, that we arrived a bit earlier and left a bit later the Philippines, so that we had some more time to travel, because of course you always want to spend some time in the hospital and learning, but you also want to see a lot of places, and of course this takes a bit of time. So I would recommend everyone to stay a bit longer there to be able to explore a lot of different places.
How about you, Piotr?
Yeah, like for me, Philippines were a life-changing experience, and like I found love of my life. And I shouldn't maybe like advertise Philippines as go to Philippines, you will find love of your life, because like we cannot promise it to anyone. Yeah, but yeah, like being serious now. I think people learn when they're like outside their comfort zone, and this is something I experienced on myself quite a few moments in my life, that like the longer travel you have, the further you are outside of your comfort zone, you are like pushed to your limits. Your brain is like working on its like higher level, and you are like, taking all this knowledge, all this experience as a sponge is taking water. So basically, I would like even like extend to this recommendation. Of course, like Philippines, 100% recommended, and I recommend everyone like to take Philippines as their like destination of exchange. But I would also love to say that like if you are thinking about exchange, don't hesitate, do it, because this is something that will like not only give you this educational an advantage or like knowledge, it's going to develop you on any different levels, because like it's going to make yourself more confident. It's going to like mixture your own culture with different culture you are experiencing. So you are always taking some kind of culture back home, back to your own place, and it's something that is always like a huge landmark or like huge step in your personal development. So definitely going abroad, going for exchanges is something that every young student, every young person, if it's of course possible, should try. This is my opinion. So yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Definitely, every exchange gives you a lot of new friendships and a lot of new perspectives and experiences, and yeah, I can only agree basically.
Okay, thank you guys. That is very nice to hear that you enjoyed your stay here in the Philippines. And it's glad to hear that you learned a lot, not just medically, but also culturally. And we really hope that a lot of people will also choose the Philippines too as their as their country of choice in choosing their rotations. Do you
Yeah.
have anything to say, Chris?
Yeah, to those who are interested in exchanging here in the Philippines, come on down. Maybe you'll meet me and Lorenz. If you're in Germany, ask Ilka about her, about her experience. If you're in Poland, ask Piotr. There's a lot of things you can learn here in the Philippines, so I welcome everyone. And I just want to say thank you, Ilka, Piotr, for again taking your time and indulging our questions. Really do appreciate it. And good luck. Good luck to your final months as medical students. In a few
Okay,
months, you
congrats
guys,
also.
we'll be calling you guys doctors. Oh my gosh, you're gonna get the MD at the end of your name. I guess you guys are pretty excited for that, aren't you?
I'm, I like people to work as a team, so I'm not necessarily like looking forward to being called doctor, but yeah, like it's definitely something that's making you smile when you see these two little letters in front of your surname, isn't it? So yeah.
All right, so this has been the Exchange Pod, brought to you by AMSA-UST, Scopy, Team Scopy. That's me and Lorenz. I am Priscilla, the exchange. What do you call it? I forgot my position. Oh my gosh. I am the EA for logistics for Scopy. And Lorenz?
And I am Lorenz Silverio, your. Wait, what's my position again? Oh, okay.
We
My.
keep forgetting your positions.
I keep on forgetting it. I'm the executive assistant for the professional exchange.
All right, so again, thank you again, you two. To anyone listening, I hope you guys have a good day. And to everyone, stay safe. Goodbye.